Hey Rose family, it's your girl Serenity Rose, and we're back with another video. And as you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be doing a foundation review wear test for the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate foundation. So I have mine in the shade F9.5, and this is what it looks like. This one comes with a pump, not a dofa, a jumbo dofa at that. And yeah, if you guys want to see how it wore for 8 hours, then just keep on watching. So for moisturizer, I'm going to be using the Olay Total Effects Whip moisturizer, and this has SPF 40 in it, so that's really good. So they're like 2 half pumps, so technically like just 1 pump, and just spread it around and rub it in. For primer, I'm going to be using the Juice Beauty Phyto Pigments Illuminating Primer. This is just a little like sample travel size. Also, if you want to see this eye look, I will leave it linked up here. It is part of a 2 looks 1 palette video. This is the first look. And then I'm just going to let that sink in for a couple of minutes. Okay, so now it's time for the foundation, which is the star of today's video. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Foundation with Hyaluronic Acid. It says that it's medium to full coverage, and this is in the shade F9.5. This one comes with a pump. So I'm going to do 1 half of my face with a sponge and then the other half with a brush as per usual. And 2 pumps is what I normally need for each side. So let's see. For the brush side, I'm going to be taking the BH Cosmetics 123 brush, which is just a flat top brush. It is clean, but it is stained. And yes, I'm aware this is not my shade. It is way too yellow for me, so we're going to have to do a lot of correcting. So I'm going to do 1.5 pumps because I normally get more coverage with a brush. So yeah. So this is the side with the brush, and then this is the side with the sponge. I will definitely say I feel like the coverage is kind of even. If not, I think the sponge gave me a little bit more coverage than the brush. It could be just the brush that I was using, but I'm going to go over everything with the sponge and just make everything nice and even. So for concealer, I'm going to be taking the Makeup Revolution Supersize Conceal and Define in C10.5. Now, this does look darker than the foundation, so let's just see. I'm going to mix in some of my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Medium. So I'm going to be taking the Set the Stage Ultra Fine Loose Setting Powder from Collab. I have this in the shade Sand Beige. This stuff is heaven. And I'm only going to apply this where I put concealer. So for everywhere else that I didn't put concealer or the loose powder, I'm going to be taking the AOA Studio Perfect Finishing Press Powder in 158 Honey. And this is just to make everything match me a bit better. And for that, I'm going to be taking the Real Techniques 201 Powder Brush. I was using this for bronzer, but I want to see how it would work with powder. And I'm gonna also lightly sweep over anywhere I put the loose powder as well. So I'm going to finish the rest of my face off camera and then I'll be back once we are done. As of right now, it is 3:10, so we're going to start this wear test. We'll leave it at 3:10 just for time's sake, and I will be back in a second. So this is the completed look. I'm super in love with how the foundation is wearing so far. Right now it's around 3:50, so it took me about 20 minutes to finish the rest of my face. I'll try to update you guys every 2 hours. If not, I will come back at the end of the night and give you guys my overall thoughts on how the foundation is wearing. But let me give you guys an up close view of what it is looking like. I don't really feel like this is a super hydrating foundation. I mean, I feel like I do see a glow, but I have highlight. I used a luminizing primer. I just don't feel like this is like a hydrating primer, but I definitely don't feel like it's matte or drying me out by any mean. So I guess it's like a natural type of finish foundation, but let's see how long I can wear this before I start to get oily. So it is currently 7:28, which means I've had this foundation on for 4 hours. And I must say I'm looking like a grease ball, or at least I'm starting to. It is starting to get oily on my chin. My nose is super oily and it is starting to separate. Around my nose is starting to separate. Would I go out like this? Probably not. I look like I just got out of the gym, but I'm probably going to take this foundation off around 10 or 11, so we'll see how much worse it gets. I will say that in the beginning of the application and when I first started my wear test, the foundation looked amazing, but it is starting to get oily. So I will see you at my next check-in. Okay, so it is currently 10:55, so we are 15 minutes away from the 8-hour mark, and this is what the foundation is looking like. And holy grease, oil, separation, this looks intense. I would have wore this a lot longer, but I'm super tired and I just want to wipe my face off. I should have started this wear test earlier. I would have at least gotten 10 hours in if I would have started at 1. Let me give you guys a close-up. So around my chin is like super oily. I did add a little bit of highlight, but it is definitely oil. On my nose, as you can see, is super oily. Like if you touch it, it'll come off. You can see like my little fingerprint, and on the sides of my nose, very oily. Like overall, I look very oily. So let's, I don't know, do I just want to set the oil or blot it away? Because it is removing when I touch it, I'm going to use a powder to set it down. So I'm going to take my Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Powder in 332 Golden Caramel and just press this all over, especially where it's oily. Okay, so it looks okay. The nose area did separate, so it does look a bit, you know, patchy, like some foundation is missing, but that is to be expected since I have a very oily T-zone, especially my nose. So as far as this foundation goes, I would give it a 7.5 to 8.8. It does wear decently. It did get oily, like extremely oily around the 7 to 8 hour mark, and then it was starting to peak through around 4 to 5 hours. So when you first apply it, it's really good. So I would say maybe if you're gonna do like pictures or a video, then I highly recommend this foundation because it looks good on first initial like application. But if you're going out for a while, if you're planning to wear this for like 12 hours, I don't recommend. I'm sure you're gonna look super greasy. Unless you're like super dry, then maybe this might be for you. I am not super dry. I'm mainly oily, like, you know, I'm combo, but mainly leaning on the oily spectrum of things. So yeah, is this Serenity Rose approved? Yes, I think it still looks pretty after I put powder on it. Looks very dewy, luminous kind of, but maybe I didn't get enough powder there, but you can still see a little bit of the oil. So again, not a really long wearing foundation, but I have it in my collection. I'm going to use it up and I actually like it. So yeah, that is my thoughts. So that brings this foundation wear test to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below if you are looking to get that foundation or if you have it and you tried it. What are your thoughts? Leave everything down below. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you go. I would love to have you join the Rose family, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!